G'day everyone, welcome to, I know you've all been exceptionally excited, it is Kiwi Week and we're having a break from all the Aussies. They've been going for 3 weeks straight and GORYDS Gasbags is now heading straight over to, over the Trans-Tasman to New Zealand. And as you can see, I have dressed up for the occasion today.
Yeah.
And that is because we are opening Kiwi Week. We had to go to the top, to the big dog for episode 18. I have gone and put on my beautiful outfit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dame Noeline Taurua.
Oh, man.
Can I drop the Dame now? Can I drop the Dame now?
Yeah, you can drop that. Why, you can drop that ages ago. And that was the very first thing that I noticed about you. How lovely you dressed up, and I look blooming terrible like the dog dragged in. But you absolutely look divine.
Oh, thank you very much. I thought I'd make an effort. It is a wee early over here in the morning because obviously Perth and over in New Zealand with the time difference. But hey, listen, given the fact that you are our first New Zealander to chat with, tell us a little bit about the COVID existence over there, because between our two countries, things have been a little bit more tighter for you guys. So talk me through it.
Yeah, look, we're on the last week of level 4 and so I think it's been like, this is our 5th week in total and seems so long ago and probably a bit of confusion when it very first started. We were at level 2 and then we had 2 days of level 3 and then we're locked down. So we've been in that sort of bubble, in a confined bubble. I've got 11 in my bubble, so it's not really a bubble. It's like a blooming, I don't know, a nursery. We were just told by Jacinda that on Monday we'll hope to head into level 3, which is going to be for 2 weeks. And then as it gets closer to the end of that 2 weeks, and then they'll decide whether, you know, we go out of level 3 or stay in there for a further time. I think from the government's intention is to ensure that we don't go backwards, with a real clean or clear thought about looking after elderly especially, and noting that, you know, we're only a small country and that we've got to be able to manage this virus as much as we can. So, you know, overall, I know everyone sort of people are moaning about it, or it's hitting people in different ways, especially the businesses. But I think, you know, looking at the survey that went out last week, 2/3 of the country are really happy that we're in the situation. And if we can get on top of things and take the proactive stance, I think that's a good thing for our country.
You're based, we were just talking about it, I had to have it explained to me. So is it southeast? No, southeast of Auckland?
East, yeah, east of
Auckland.
Yeah, it's correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
North Island, 2.5 hours.
And you're kind of on the beach, sort of?
Yeah, right on the beach. So beautiful. It's sort of our little wee communities. It's like we're going back in the 70s or 80s. You know, it's so lovely. And sometimes there's no lights on outside and all the rest of it. Or our house is the only house that hasn't got any lights on and everybody else has. So it's definitely going back in time. But we're lucky with our little 11 people in the bubble that we've got access and we're just outside and go on the beach.
Knowles, I can't move on until we talk about the 11 in the bubble. I can't even begin to comprehend. I'm struggling with my dog. How does 11 people work in a bubble?
I know, we're lucky once again that we've got a big house. So I've got 5 children. My oldest Anya has got 3, so the 3 grandchildren, obviously. So that's 8 in total. Myself is 9, Ed is 10, and then the husband is 11 of Anya. So that's 11. And I must say myself, it's, you know, my youngest is 11 years old, and not that it's a struggle, but I forget about the nappies and the smells and just all the noise consistently. So it's a bit of a wake-up call for myself, but I'm a bit deaf and you know, selected hearing. So I'm very lucky that I can turn it off when I want to.
You're sitting in your office at the moment, I assume?
Yes, Yes, I am. My little wee cupboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, right by the kitchen, which is terrible place.
Well, I was going to say, have you got like a massive lock that goes on that door that you can just shut yourself down?
Well, what usually happens now is the baby's time to sleep. So the timing is perfect. You picked it. Awesome. Perfect. Otherwise, I'll be hitting on the door and then we'll be on the move. So perfect timing.
Oh dear. All right, let's go back, way back. Well, not way back. You're not that bloody old, but anyhow.
No.
Although I was having a bit of a look at you. Have you seen your photo on the New Zealand website when you're a player?
No.
Oh, yes.
What's those eyebrows like?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I'll do it. I'll put it up on this when
no.
You're a little cutie.
Oh, thank you. Shoot. Oh, no.
175 centimetre whippet you were. Could play all three positions up front. You're a bit of a pain on the court, you were.
I don't know about that, but I wish I could have, like if I had my time again, I know I would have done things a wee bit better, but and hopefully would have been a better player. But I think, like always, that experience that you have, like wearing the silver fern and that first time that you wear or you sing the national anthem, they're pretty cool times, really cool times. So, I was short. Like nowadays, there's sort of, you got all the big tall shooters, and I was short, so I had to run away from everybody, and Fialki and them trying to beat me up, and Kath Harvey and all the rest of it. So I had to run away from everyone.
Yeah, Harb's tried to beat up her own teammates, so I understand what you're talking about. They bred them tough in defence here in Australia through those days. Talk to me about the times playing for you for the Silver Ferns. What about the teammates? I mean, this whole GORYDS Gasbags Knowles has been about catching up with yesteryear and some of the stories that have come out and just the reminiscing, I guess, of, the people that, I guess, your lifelong friends for some of them. What was it like coming through? Because you played 95 World Cup, didn't you?
Yeah, God, geez, that seems so long ago. Yeah, played World Cup. Actually, I was probably a bit of a late bloomer, I must say. One of those talented kids that had all talent under the sun, but the actual work ethic or the training ethic didn't marry up with what I needed to do. So I ended up having my first baby, actually. I think I was 25 at that time, and also had gone through an ACL knee injury. So I remember distinctly I was like 5 months pregnant in the bed at the hospital with my knee in a 3/4 cast. And I was lying there, and I think it was a lightning bolt that came out of the sky and said, "What are you doing? Do you want to play this game or not?" So I had a moment with the man above or whoever, and then I think out of that, where you have to make those decisions, you could either go one way or the other way, and I think that was one of those moments in my life. So I actually got out there, ran, done all those things that I had supposed to do, and I think I was probably heading on to 26 years old, so I was quite a late person going into the Silver Ferns. And then got the call up where Lee Gibbs got in, and it was sort of from there pushed my way into the starting seven at a goal attack position. I think, like always, it's quite an interesting space, and being the head coach now, I've been able to take some things out of the learnings and the experiences that I had as a player. And definitely that's helped me, I suppose, establish a culture or a program within the Silver Ferns. But, it's always those mates that when times get tough, that who's got your back. And, those times when we're in Jamaica and, we were there for three tours and we're outside, it's stinking hot. We're staying at this nunnery, which is called Immaculate Conception. We're washing our clothes in the bath, and you hang them up and you wear them the next day, and it's like like all of this stuff out on the tar seal. It's just amazing memories. But not that the players nowadays are soft or anything like that, but the access of things that they get to is amazing now. And I sort of remember the days and thinking, working, finishing work at 8 o'clock and getting to the netball courts and turning on the lights on your car so you can actually see the post. Things that you do. But it was a very amazing time for me. Commonwealth Games was probably the highlight because it was the first netball was the invitation game. I think we were in Kuala Lumpur and lost to Aussie the 100 millionth time during that era. But the experience of really being with other sports and realising that we haven't actually got it too bad. A lot of the other sports, they either have to mortgage their house, they can't train, or just going overseas to get international competition really raised or opened up the awareness of little old netball and how well we have it.
Yeah, I agree. I actually was a spectator at the KL Games. I was doing a little bit of work in Singapore at the time. I recall seeing you there. It was an interesting one too, because I think it was a venue for about 1,800 people only to see the finals, sold out in a matter of seconds. So, hey, listen, I was having a chat with someone who, upon very good authority, has told me that your brain as a player was exceptionally quick. It was so quick, it was ahead of most others. Would you agree with that?
Oh, thank you for talking to my mother. You got a telephone call. Thank you very much. I don't know. I think my brain was probably better than my body physically and my ability to actually train. But I think I had to use things a wee bit different because this sounds really, really bad, but you can't teach a dog sometimes the old tricks. You know what you need to do, especially when you're growing up playing with some of the old dears as well. They tell you exactly what you need to do strategically, and I've learned a lot from people I've grown up with. Probably my output, once again, to try and do as minimal as I can, as much as possible, was probably shining through during those days. But I think strategically, not sounding like a fat head, but that's probably one of my strengths, or the things that I know that I've got to fall on.
Well, I mean, it's blatantly obvious. I didn't need you to answer it, because every player that I've spoken to who has now been coached by you, beyond the fact that they speak so highly of you as a person, they all talk about your brain. They all talk about your smarts and your wit and your everything upstairs. So it's obviously something that's taken as a trait from you as a player, and it's come to the forefront of your coaching.
Yeah, one of the things that I find really hard, because my brain is going and I can see a lot of different things, or I know what needs to happen, but my ability to be able to communicate it, because I'm so, and I could be talking to you next when I've jumped onto something else. It does my head in, and probably the, other people's head in, but it's then being able to communicate it in a way that others can understand. And I'm articulating, I am getting better in that aspect, but it is a work on to be able to keep up with this and that together. So if I can get that better, it'd be really enjoyable. At the moment, it just sometimes does my head in.
Well, I mean, I'll give you it's quite funny, because obviously through your 3 years with the Lightning, and obviously as a commentator, we would dearly love when the camera would go in on the huddles. We'd always go to Lightning, because we had no idea what you were going to say. And
I know.
And as players and coaches or whatnot, those of us that are sitting in commentary, we're all there trying to interpret what it is that Noeline's saying. It's like a special language at times. I mean, we got some of it, and then we were like, no, don't get that. But everybody else in your team did. That's all that mattered.
I know. That's the funniest thing. And then someone will just interpret it, bang, like maybe 3 or 4 words. Yeah, that's it. And then, yeah, and away we go. It's just crazy sometimes. So, but yeah.
Good fun. I want to know, this is what I really want to know. I've never asked you this question. At what stage did you go, I'm going to coach? Like, when did it really resonate? What was your first coaching job?
I think through the sewer ferns, or when you're a player, you do those you know, those one-offs and, you know, with either college or whatever. I was still playing at the time, and I was coaching Bay of Plenty, which is like a regional team. So that was probably my first coaching gig. But also at the same time, I was playing for Wellington. So, Waikato, sorry. So not there 100%, but filling the void, I suppose.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, it was probably 10 years after I actually started coaching in Magic, which sounds terrible, but I stumbled into coaching basically when I moved from Wellington up to the Bay. At that time, Ruth Aitken was coaching Magic, and she asked if I, wanted to be an assistant coach. I ruled it out because I was still on the end of my playing career. And then the second thing was, will I help or be an extra number? So we ended up, I suppose, somehow I ended up as assistant coach / 12th player. And then the year after that, Ruth got the New Zealand job. So I just got asked whether I wanted to be head coach of Magic after then. So it wasn't really a career choice, if I was going to be honest, and probably took me a good 10 years to actually understand what the job was about.
Does 2012 stand out for you though then, early in your coaching career? Because it was a pretty significant year.
Yes, it does. It was probably one of the finer points in my coaching career, because we've been so close but yet so far in regards to the ANZ Cup, and 2012 was probably a turning point, not only for myself but also some of the players that have been involved with Magic over the years. And, you know, the ones that I'm talking about is like the Caseys and the Lauras and some of those younger ones who are just starting to turn in their own performances out on court. So that was massive. And that was also the year I remember where Irene's mama died too. And that was on the semi-finals just before I think we played Mystic. So it was a massive year in a lot of respects. And it was one of those things where I felt that we actually came together as a team, and one of those memorable occasions.
Yeah, it was an extraordinary final. And just so that to jog people's memories, that year of the ANZ Championship, or to that point, Magic had not won on Aussie soil. You hadn't won a game on Aussie soil. Actually, no New Zealand team had won a game on Aussie soil, I don't believe, to that point. So you had to come across all odds, and then you got up over the Melbourne Vixens, I think by about 3 goals it was, roughly, from memory, 42 something or other, 39, which was such a significant game. Tell me about, so you mentioned Casey. You threw the lifeline out to Casey to come back to the Silver Ferns. Why? What is it about her?
Oh, look, I love Casey, actually, both. You know, we've grown up together. She was 16 when she first came into the Magic team, and I was just still a young coach and in my early 30s as well, and on the end of my playing career. So I think through those ups and downs that we had within that Magic team, and, you know, we were all learning at the same time and trying to learn what our own roles were. So, you know, we've got a lot of, I suppose, knowledge about each other, both good and bad. And what I always liked with Casey when I very first saw her was her mongrel. She was a mongrel. You know, I remember seeing her when she was 16 years old, and even though she had the stomach that she could go like this and do these party tricks with, when she had that side of the ball, she will just go. And she was tough. What she said was what she said. So she was very open and honest about her feelings and able to communicate that. Very simple in her ways. Not a simple person, but just get the simple things done and do it right. And I also liked about her is that she comes from a farming background in her family, so hard worker. Get up, milk the cows.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter anything. If it's cold, hot, she just gets the job done in her jandals. So a lovely person. And to have Casey back in the mix after knowing that I had been away for a couple of years, I suppose I trust her, and I trusted in what she says, and she also had the trust in the players. So getting her back in the mix and knowing that she was going to commit 100% was what we needed in our leadership structure.
It's like, it's a fairy tale, isn't it? I just think, I mean, I should be, as an Aussie, like it was a heartbreak moment, but it was just a bloody fairy. It was like, I get the hard work that went behind it, but the stories that just came from that win was just extraordinary. Pause there because I want to go back to the Lightning before we go forward to that. So was it a tough decision to go to the sunny coast?
Actually, the only tough decision that I had was around my kids and my family. And knowing it was a big ask to be able to pick them up and get them to relocate. My older daughter at the time, I think she was 14, and sometimes when they leave all their mates and that, man, they can rack it up too. So they were at that age where their friends mean a lot to them, and the environment mean a lot. So that was probably the biggest thing. But everything else was so much of a positive for me. It was to go, and I've said this many a times, is to learn from the Jedis. I've mentioned that I never walk away or say anything different, because Australia had been so amazing in our sport for so many years. And to get this opportunity or that opportunity to not only see what they do, the frameworks, why they are like they are, and how they train so hard. It couldn't have been just the opportunity to do that and be in the sanctum was something that any Kiwi coach would just relish. So that was amazing. To be a part of Melbourne Storm, who also is a phenomenal sporting organisation, and have access to all the good people and knowledge in there was definitely a bonus. Sunny Coast and its holy heck, like who would not want to go to Sunny Coast is all I say. Is everything about the place is amazing, the people, the weather, the chillness about everything there, and it really suited actually the family. So overall, there were so many positives for us to go as a family. And I was actually saying to the kids the other day, and they actually agreed, which is a good thing, because they said, man, your mother makes good decisions, is that they all agreed it was a good time. It was a great time for the family that we all went over there. The education side is so much better, and we're actually tighter as a family. So, leading into that space, I've never been at home for 10 or I don't know how many years prior to that, where I've actually worked and lived in the same place. So being able to locate in Sunny Coast enabled us to do that.
It's so nice to hear, and I agree with you. The Sunny Coast is just an extraordinary place. We sound like a tourist advert, but it's a great place to go. So when you had to put the team together at the Sunny Coast, I found this really intriguing at the time, of course, as a new franchise and having to get on the front foot. You're the bloody mastermind. Let's be honest. I mean, that team, it was pretty extraordinary. I mean, a lot of it, I imagine, had nothing to do with going to the Sunny Coast, but it was because you were there. So I have a feeling a lot of players went because you, Aussie players I'm talking about, that wanted the experience of something different. But piecing that puzzle together, good job.
Thank you. It was actually blooming hard. It was really hard because at that time, for the first 6 weeks, I was the only one there. We had no office. We didn't have anything, and we were trying to put the pieces together. So I was working out of the Melbourne Storm office. And it's I learned a lot, basically, once again. And that's the reason why I did go over there, about not necessarily talking myself up. That wasn't the thing, but being really confident in what I can do, and talking to players. Some of them, I've only said, hello, how you go? Like, we've never had a discussion or anything like that. And you get some random woman, and of course how I talk, and they're just probably blindsided by everything that I actually say. But it was a good step for me to actually start where I was just challenged so much. But the good thing is I've been around the traps a long time, and some of those players, even though they've been there too, I think it was the ability to be able to offer them something different and something new, whether that was in their own way of playing the game, or a new environment that was going to be different because there's this Kiwi Sheila that was coming in. So I think I got into just selling everything that I could possibly do, but being very clear about the areas that I know that I can improve their game, and being very open about things that I know that we just haven't got sorted. Yeah. But being really, once again, clear that I care for you, and that if I couldn't get it done, I'll make sure that I tell you, right from the start. So, yeah, it was very challenging. But the good thing is, once one drops, it's easier to be able to do the next one. But I always find it's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together, where I've got an understanding in my own head what the vision is, or the picture of the jigsaw puzzle. I know what that is, but it's every piece, and it's not just about the players, it's getting the high performance staff. It's, have we got this? Have we got that? Have we got that? So very exciting how it all actually came together, and I was amazed actually, the players and what they done, and I think the responsibility that they took in making something out of nothing. And that's probably one of the coolest things.
Well, I mean, it would have been lovely to have had a trifecta, no two ways about it. But have you had time since being back just to sit back and go, holy heck, like no one we saw the list, but no one expected a startup franchise to walk through and win the first premiership of the Suncorp Super Netball, then go and back it up, and then lo and behold, make the grand final for the third year. I'm not convinced that's ever going to happen again. The league is so, as you know, so strong, so tough, ever evolving. Have you reflected? Are you does it ever overwhelm you of how? I mean, I know you put in a lot of work, I have no doubt, but it's extraordinary, Knowles.
Yeah, I think the things that excites me is where I see players where we started and then where we've ended, or where they have ended. And, even little Laura Sherian is amazing. I think the great thing is everyone's got a backstory. And it's probably, to me, I'm in the same thing, as not fitting into a certain mold or whatever, and then bang, they come out, and next minute Laura Sherian's representing her country and the oldest in wearing the diamond suit, and I think that's just amazing. So I think the thing that has inspired me is the journey that different individuals have taken. Kylie's now running the show, and we're not saying that there was nothing where she started, but it's cool to be a part of individuals' pathways. But I think for little old Sunny Coast in itself, for a town that or a university that wants to be a high performance, I think it's a great starting point. And it's cool to know that I've been a part of that. And, I got really treated nicely while I was there. And when I left, I was not necessarily embarrassed by all the things that I received, but I know that I was one piece of the puzzle, and I'm really glad that we took that on as a family.
I used to enjoy watching you and Kylie on the bench. You had a bit of fun together, didn't you? She was a good balance for you.
Yeah, she was really good. One, she could talk. That's a good thing. So she could read my mind, and she could interpret what I was saying. So I said, yeah, that sounds really good. You go. But from day one, I sort of felt she's a head coach in her own right. She's been there, done that. She's done the grind, and she hasn't shirked away from all those years, whether you're on the court or in a local tournament. You've got to do that grind as a coach. So I can only respect that, and once again, I'm really supportive of her, and where she's going to go to now and what she's going to do in Lightning, and also the Aussie under 21s. I think it's real cool.
Yeah. Noeline, why does the number 11, why is that so significant, number 11?
Well, number 11 is Jonah Lomu's probably the most significant thing probably in New Zealand's mind is that he wore number 11. I could I could be a poker, or what do you call it, that game of legs 11, but probably third on the list is on the head coach for number 11 of the Silver Ferns.
That's right. And there's another, and that is correct. That is the answer. So well done to you, tick. There's also another reason, because not only are you the 11th coach, but you, after getting the gig 11 months later, turned Commonwealth Games to World Cup success in 11 months.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
No, that's why I got up early and did my maths this morning.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool.
You just sit back in your chair. Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. That's why the shoulders go back.
I'll remember that. I will bring that out sometime. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an extraordinary time, and it's really hard for an Aussie to sit here and say well done. But for some reason, we kind of felt like we adopted you for a short period of time. So when you left and you went back to take on the big dog job, I feel like we all kind of had a little bit of a piece with you at the same time, because we'd seen what a success you'd been over here in Australia. So it was an extraordinary journey to watch from a distance as a frenemy. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Extraordinary times.
Yeah, very much so. It's quite interesting how you say frenemy, because I think prior to coming over Oz, there's always been that thinking of, that trans-Tasman rivalry, and there certainly is still that, which I think is a positive thing. But sort of like from sometimes from my, like, but, it actually changed my way of thinking, where one, I've been able, well, once again, I'm very grateful for my time over there, and I don't think you should shoot the messenger or the dog or whoever. So, you can't be one thing and then see you later the next time. That's not, that's not right in my books. But, like that whole way of playing against each other had actually disappeared from my thinking or my well-being, my whole being, whereas I got a massive appreciation for a good game, and like we're just gonna give it to each other, but with skill, with competitive edge. And for once from our side, where we can actually match it or go toe for toe, not only in one game, but try and beat the beast in the next game. And, so it actually changed my thinking about the whole Australian New Zealand way. And I think, with the supporters, the Australian supporters, I actually felt that. So frenemy is probably a really good word, because I think out of it all, we try to be able to get that level of netball just to some other place. And I think, my exposure in Australian competition definitely helped that thinking. But absolutely loved it. It was, I don't know, 11 months of, oh God, terrible things. I've described it actually at the beginning of having to go to the dentist to get my teeth pulled out. It was probably the worst win ratio that I've ever had out of my whole years. In that first block of 6 months, it was the first, I was the least, win-loss ratio of all the head coaches. You know, it was hard to take, but it was only because we weren't at the capability of being able to play a certain type of game, or we just weren't strong enough in our base. So we had to take the pain. But, you know, it all ended up coming out really nicely at the end. But I don't know if I'd like to go through that again.
But you know what? I think what you did really well during that time is anytime you were interviewed, you often, you never made excuses for the performance, but I could tell as a coach, and I don't know whether this went out to people beyond those that coach, but I could always sense that you knew exactly, like it's okay. Like I don't like to lose. I'm not thrilled with the performance, but I know where I'm going. Like you kept yourself because a lot of coaches aren't capable of doing that, Noel. So for me, there was a real, and I imagine that transferred to the playing group exceptionally well.
Yeah, you know, I think you spoke about it right at the beginning in regards to a strategic plan, and that's probably one of the things that I need to know is in my own head, where are we going? Sometimes I don't know how we're going to get there, because we have to go through different stages to get there. But I've got a vision, or I know where I want to go, and then getting those people or working with those people that will help that process go through. Definitely, I did know what the end result needed to be in all aspects of our program. And I suppose the enticement of why I took the job on was that challenge behind getting it together, similar to the Sunny Coast as to the reason. And the same thing, you know, the only way for us was up. And, you know, geez, we can't be that bad. So, and if we were, hey, see you later. That's the shortest 11th month, number 11 coaching will be in history. So, you know, it's amazing how it all actually came together. It was pretty cool. And you only get that when you get to the end and you think, wow, that's pretty cool to be a part of.
Do you feel the love?
Feel the love. Oh, God, that question.
There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it.
Oh, God. You know, at the end of it, and it's the same stuff we were in now, and I know, you know, with this virus and that, you know, people getting pay cuts, people are losing their jobs and everything, and, you know, we're always going on when we're having discussions and with players is about the survival of our game. You know, and there's so many people who have given their skin, you know, you guys, us and whatever, from ages ago to help women to be able to present themselves, you know, like society and things like that in our sport. And it's actually bigger, you know, for our team or our players. Everything, there's other things that are more important, but we have a role to play. So, you know, I'm really passionate about that, and I feel good about that, you know, that once again that I have a role. So I think a good thing is a lot of other people do, and I think that's where our connection and our bonds start to form, irrelevant of which country we come from.
Where does your humbleness come from?
I think it's ingrained, actually. Once again, it's one of those things that does my head in. Sometimes I just want to rip it out and go. But, you know, there's a saying in our culture where the kumara, which is a sweet potato, doesn't say how sweet it is. That you know, you just, everyone knows once you take a bite how sweet it is, so you just know. So I think it's ingrained in me, and probably passed down from actually I was going to say Mairanō, which is everyone before me.
Yeah, I can imagine it stands out by a mile. What does, and we're getting to the end, Knowles, I know you've got a busy life. What does the next, what's the future for Noeline? I mean, I don't give me the answer, well, I'll just take it. Don't give me that cliche, one step at a time, right? So I'm going to see out this contract. But what does it look like?
I actually ask myself that all the time, and it's a common theme that actually runs through my life. when I didn't get the Silver Ferns job, the last round, it was a really good time for me to reflect on me. And obviously with me connects my family. And out of that, the key themes that came out is I want to be happy. I want to be in a position or a place where I am challenged. I want to be amongst like-minded people where we can challenge, not necessarily challenge each other, but we can have those discussions that are going to shake the tree up. But then we can also have a beer and have a wine and just chill, and be all right to be yourselves. I always want to be in a place where I'm warm because I think I'm a cold-blooded animal. So that's one of the things, and probably family is a big thing for me. So even though I don't know exactly where I want to be, I think those are the key pillars, I suppose, that will hold up where I'm going to be. And I'm sort of that type of person where, I don't know, where I will be where I should be. And I know this does people's head in, but I feel if I go with my gut and I stick to those things, then I'll end up where I'm supposed to be. And I just got to trust that that's the path that's sort of laid out in front. So a bit wishy-washy, I know, but it sits properly for me and very clear in my own thinking.
No, I think that sounds exceptionally clear, Knowles. I want to read a book. What one should I read?
Oh,
read?
Oh, God. Well, one friend, because we went to Elton John while we were in Sunny Coast. We were so lucky because the week after we all got, the airports got shut and all the rest of it. So had a ripping time there back in Sunny Coast. So I was real happy in more ways than one. So she gave me Elton John and I've got that. And then I've just got this book, I can't remember. Oh, The Tattooist from
Oh, I've read it.
Oh, yeah.
Terrific.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. I'm reading that at the moment, and it's an easy read in some respects. But, yeah, really interesting.
I want to watch a TV show. What should I watch?
Well, just the latest is old Michael Jordan and his documentary. So my son's a keen basketballer, so we were watching that the other day. I'm actually I love series. I actually was a keen Married at First Sight person, especially the Aussie version. I can't get away from it, and it's a big family delight. But unfortunately, over the last, I really wasn't connected to the last series, so
you
lost my way in that respect.
You missed an absolute beauty, let me tell you. It was.
I might go on demand and actually look at it while I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. I want to cook a meal. What should I cook?
Oh, well, hey, I'm easy on that. We've got HelloFresh. HelloFresh is just a household inclusion, probably maybe about the last 6 weeks. Oh, man, I love it.
You're not a cook?
Like that sort of thing. I'm whipping in and out, so anything I can cook fast, but I'm really enjoying HelloFresh. Oh, the taste of everything is so beautiful, and I don't have to worry about worrying what we're having day to day.
Classic. Last one, I want to sing a song. What song should I sing?
Oh, well, since I am a rocket man, so we're a rocket man. That's probably one of those.
Wait, Knowlesy, wait. I'm not sure whether you've seen a full episode of GORYDS Gasbags, but you do not leave the screen without a karaoke moment.
So was that enough?
No, that's not even the beginning of it. You've got to rock something out. So you're going with Rocket Man by Elton John?
Yeah. Well,
you know the word.
Does that come in on the what do you call it? Well, at the end is probably one thing, but well, what do you call it when you just sing I'm a rocket man?
Yeah, the chorus.
The chorus.
You just go sing the chorus.
Well, I don't even know the blooming words apart from saying I'm a rocket man and putting my arms like this.
Well, just give me a few of those. I'll introduce you, okay? And then you just give me a few rocket man and some big arms in the air. Are you looking up the words?
No, I'm looking at. Wait, I'm going to take on one. I'm going to take off. I was going to go on Spotify.
Oh, and you're going to get.
Hey.
So we'll put some pause music on for everybody. Knowles is looking up Spotify for Rocket Man. She's going to give us this is Dame Noeline Taurua here, about to sing Rocket Man in ISO. I reckon this should have the highest number of clicks of anything we've done. Here we go.
I'm going to wait for the chorus.
I'll have a beer in the meantime.
Get your beer. Hi.
Right.
So I come in certain and then I stop because I don't know the words.
Just get the arms.
I miss my way. Right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Think it's gonna be a long, long time. Things get too fine. Man, I think I am at home. Oh, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man.
Woo! Noeline Taurua.
There's
you
a fade out.
Shocking.
Fade out. It's all in the hair, you know, like this. And then the arms.
I was just thinking, though, that through that whole thing, have you got all the words going around in your head of the song, but you just can't get them out?
No, I just don't know the words. I know certain things in the air, and then I leave and go, and then I go, like that. It's like every song that I nearly sing.
Noeline,
but I sing the air really hard out.
You're an absolute delight. It's been a pleasure having you open Kiwi Week on GORYDS Gasbags. Of course, one of the biggest selling shows this side of isolation. And I'm going to throw a challenge to you. Pick someone that I should have a chat with tomorrow night. Who do you think I should chat with?
Well, one of the people that actually I've brought back into the mix with our specialist coaches is Donna Lofhagen, Donna Wilkins.
Oh,
I like Don's, man. Like, she's a hard tart. She's a good player, and she was hard as a player as well. So I wanted some of the stuff that she did rub off onto some of our players. So that's the target for you, young lady.
Okay, that is a target, and it's made me a wee bit nervous because I have watched her play and she's brutal. I hope she won't be brutal. I'll have to get the mobile number off you and I can give her a call. All right, challenge accepted. Donna, because of course I'm sure she's watching this, I'm coming for you tomorrow night. Donna Wilkins it is. In the meantime, Dame Noeline Taurua, unreal. Thank you. I know how busy you are, and I mean, you're probably getting requests like this all the time, but I'm the most important person, and that's why you did it. So thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
See you, everyone. Noeline Taurua.